Good morning everyone. I'm thrilled to be back after a very refreshing break, and today's video is dedicated to a topic that many of you have asked about, which is the part-time jobs. So, let me share my experience and how I landed my first part-time job here in Oxford. It all started during a grocery shopping trip to Templar Square. Initially, I wasn't actively seeking a job, but as fate would have it, I stumbled upon JD Sports at Templar Square and decided to step inside. My intention was to find a new pair of shoes, but since I couldn't find my size, I thought, why not ask if they're hiring? So I approached the manager and inquired about job opportunities, and to my delight, she informed me that they were indeed hiring. We engaged in a 15-minute conversation and she requested my resume. 2 weeks later, I received an email inviting me for an interview, which I gladly accepted and the opportunity and fortunately secured the job. Now I must address some prevailing rumors regarding part-time jobs in the UK, which might create unnecessary worries, especially for those back in India or in any other country. Contrary to popular belief, finding a part-time job here is not as challenging as it's made out to be. In fact, many of my friends have successfully secured various part-time roles such as working in restaurants, retail outlets, or even assisting dentists in their field of expertise. The key is to be proactive and persistent in your search. While it's important not to fear the prospect of not finding a part-time job, it's equally crucial not to rely solely on it to meet your financial obligations. The reality is, part-time wages may not cover all your expenses, especially considering the rising cost of housing in the UK. For instance, I currently pay around £749 including bills for my accommodation here in Paul Kent, while many of my friends pay a similar amount, while those living in private accommodations might pay around £650. However, it's worth noting that shared accommodations are common where ensuite facilities are not guaranteed. Therefore, my advice is not to be discouraged about securing a part-time job, but rather avoid over-dependence on it as it may not suffice. Now let's discuss full-time job prospects after graduation, particularly for those in the marketing field. While the salaries may not match those in the US, they are still decent enough to sustain a comfortable life. However, if your plan is to move to London and establish yourself there after graduation, I must inform you that there are much better and reasonable options to move to like Manchester and Newcastle. It's because London's prices are considerably higher compared to Oxford, which is already one of the second or third most expensive city in the UK. I really urge you to carefully consider the financial aspect, ensuring you have sufficient funds for accommodation and tuition fees. If you can manage these expenses beforehand and then secure a part-time job, you will be able to enjoy a more fulfilling experience here. When I arrived here, I made sure that I paid the accommodation fees for the entire 50 weeks in my first installment, as well as the tuition fee. This allowed me to use my earnings for additional expenses. However, this is merely just a suggestion and the decision ultimately rests with you. Finally, I'd like to emphasize that stressing excessively about not finding a job here is unnecessary. The job market is favorable even amidst the ongoing recession. Therefore, I encourage you to remain optimistic. If you have any further questions, please feel free to ask me in the comment section below. Or additionally, you can reach out to me through my Instagram handle, which I'll provide right down here. I'd also like to inform you about recent updates from the UK government regarding the post-study work visa, which is the PSW, and also the visitor's visa. Starting next year, students will have to pay 15% more for the PSW, and the visitor visa has been increased as well. Unfortunately, there's another development that may concern students planning to stay in the UK after graduation. Previously, the health insurance charges amounted to be around £645 annually. However, from next year, the cost will rise to £1,045. The government justifies this change as a means to improve salaries for teachers, doctors, and nurses. While I acknowledge their intentions, I believe it places a heavier burden on students. Therefore, I advise you to thoroughly research these aspects before making any decisions. I wish you best of luck with your visa process and take care. If you found this video helpful, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much.